What's good, YouTube? Jonathan Moore back here today, and we have one of the best Kozmo decks I've seen in a while. Welcome to BOSH-Kozmo. Andrew Single gets 5th place at the Boston, Massachusetts Regionals using Kozmo. So let's get into it. We have Artifact Beagle Tech, Artifact Moral Tech, 2 Artifact Scythes, 2 copy of Effect Veiler, 2 copies of Ghost Ogres. I'm really happy with these lines of traps and artifacts. Hand traps, that is. We have 3 Kozmo Dark Destroyer, of course, 3 Kozmo Farm Girl, 1 Kozmo Forerunner, 1 Good Witch Still, 3 Slip Rider, 1 Straw Man, 2 Tin Can, welcome to this crew, R2-D2 and Tin Man, 3 Kozmo Wicked Witch. So many people forget that this is also Wizard of Oz. 2 Artifact Ignition, 3 Emergency Teleport, 3 Kozmo Town, 2 Instant Fusion, 3 Sanctum, and 3 Call. Call gets so much value out of this deck, it is ridiculous. You can get back Norden, you can get back Scythe, you can get back Moral Tech, you can get back pretty much just anything. In the side we have 2 Cyber Dragons, 2 Majesty's Fiend, 2 MSTs, 2 Stormforths, 3 Anti-Spell Fragrance. Kozmo perhaps the best deck to be able to abuse Anti-Spell Fragrance. I might be doing a video on the 5 best decks to abuse Anti-Spell Fragrance later. We have, like I said, 2 Cosmojo, 2 Royal Decree, and that wraps up the side deck. And our extra, we have 2 Chimera Techs, able to abuse this card as well. 1 Norden, 1 Panzer Dragon, extra value out of that Instant Fusion, 1 Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, and Black Rose. I think being able to Black Rose is so big. That's amazing. Like, oh, no, there's no Exciton. Oh, it's Black Rose. 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Daigusto Emerald, 1 Castel, 1 Volcasaurus, 1 Durandal, 1 Cybernova, 1 Cyber Infinity, 1 Patol, and a Gaia Dragon. So this man actually has a very lengthy tournament report for me to give you all. So let's go ahead and get into it. Came in 5th place, finishing X1 after 8 rounds. My matchups were as follows: Pepe, Magicians, Fluffle, Kozmo, Infernoid, Pepe, Kozmo, Kozmo. So 3 mirror matches this man had to come. My only loss was Kozmo round 4. The mirror was something I've been struggling with, so honestly I'm surprised I did as well as I did, considering my latter rounds were mirrors. Partially, it's because I suck at the mirror, but also because I ran the artifact engine, and the artifacts are terrible in the mirror. However, in my testing, the artifacts were too good to ignore. Every game I was able to open with Sanctum, I won. Pepe and the likes can't really afford to not set up a board against Kozmo, so flipping the Sanctum for a Scythe is essentially its own win condition. One of the challenges I faced with this engine, though, was building a side that was effectively dealt with the mirror without taking up too much space of the side. My artifact engine consisted of 9 cards, and I ended up siding out 8. And siding 2 Sidra, 2 Majesties, 2 Stormforth, and 2 Cosmojo. Cosmojo is actually ridiculous in the mirror, and I almost went into the event thinking with it in the main or side. And honestly, I would think would have... my bad. I think would have been a mistake. If you're playing Kozmo, run the Mojo. You don't need to main it, but you should at least side it. I decided to only run 2 of the new BOSH cards in my build, Cosmojo and 2 Kozmo Tin Can. Mojo is fairly self-explanatory. A lot of Kozmo players have decided to run 3 Tin Can, but I actually find this to be too much. Really, I see Tin Can turn 1, use his effect once, and not use them the rest of the duel. Without the Call of the Haunted, you're losing too many resources for that one search to be worth it. However, Tin Can was amazing for starting up your engine. I choose to because, coupled with E-Teleport, I had 5 cards that could result Tin Can turn 1. Then I only had to worry about drawing 1 more rather than worrying about 2 more. I just really felt like Tin Can at 2 was enough. Round 1. Pepe went first and tried to set up Infinity, but I ogred the Ptolemaeus and he just had no plays left. I was able to push with Farm Girl, and we all know where that goes. Game 2 ended similarly. I ended up 2-0ing him. He did have a playset of Sorcerer, so that's a good confidence booster to start off the day. The Magician player in round 2 wasn't that great. He ended up Oath Dragoning and Dragon Pulse the scales, a 1 and a 2, and he essentially locked himself out of his pendulum plays. Once he finally found a way to clear his scale, Scythe just secured the kill. Once again, I 2-0'd for match. The Fluffle was an interesting match where I won game 1 and proceeded to get OTK'd in game 2. Game 3 was a bit of a grind as I opened Anti-Spell and slowed him down far more than it slowed me down, and I was able to come out on top. The round 4 Kozmo was my only loss of the day, and I don't think I played it poorly. Game 1 he outgrinded me, and game 2 he drew Regeki to out my Majesty's Fiend, and he had 2 E-Telly in hand, so there goes that. Round 5 was actually against a friend of mine who I spent literally hours each day testing with. Seeing as how neither of us wanted to go first, it came down to whoever went second just won. I won the dice roll, and in the long run, it led to me winning the match. Round 6, Pepe, match was over in less than 10 minutes. Ghost Ogre is freaking ridiculous, to excuse the language. That's kind of all I have to say about it. Also, Scythe doesn't give a frick. Round 7 and 8 were both the mirror. The round 7 Kozmo player made a few crucial misplays that ultimately led me to 2-0ing him. I had also made the decision just to pop Kozmo Town the second it hit board, just because it cut him off his banished Cosmos, so grinding him out became significantly easier. The round 8 mirror, however, was a lot harder. The match was slower, grindier match. We went into game 3 and I dropped Ghost Ogre on the tin can and he was unable to put a defense against the OTK. I had no complaints on my build. It had a good balance of control and aggro. The artifacts and infusions helped raise the deck on the ceiling. Ogring your opponent just to Norden the Ogre back into Black Rose or Meteor Burst on your turn is too good. The Panzer Dragon can also be used with Slip Rider to make Pallades or Cyber Dragon Infinity. Scythe was the MVP card with Tin Can as an honorable mention. Cosmojo really surprised me on how good it was. I would consider maining them for the next event. Once the format slows down following a new ban list or something, I think Mojo will be a staple in the main deck. All in all, if I were going to regional again tomorrow, I honestly wouldn't change a thing in the deck. Although the Emerald is supposed to be an Ancient Fairy Dragon, I just didn't bring one. Moving forward, I think artifacts will fall out of favor. Once Monarchs are released, I don't see Scythe being all as good as it is now, but I could be wrong. For any player thinking about playing Kozmo or anyone trying to decide a variant, here's my advice. Test everything. No one build is better than any other, and some might even seem terrible or just won't make sense to you. I initially wasn't going to run artifacts or tin cans, but luckily I gave them a shot, and these cards carried me all the way to the top 8. Shoutouts to Andrew Davis, Mike Baker, and Brandon Chin, as well as Rory D. Oh man, I'm gonna murder this. Alessandro, I hope I didn't. Dan Sullivan, Chris Collins, and Adrian Carter. Whether it was the late night testing, debating tech cards, or giving rights to regionals, I wouldn't have seen the success I did without any of them. So that's a real awesome, heartfelt deck profile, tournament report from Andrew Single. Amazing deck. I really like it. Be sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked what you saw, and go ahead and be sure to stay tuned because we're going to have a lot of awesome decks from BOSH. Thank you, Andrew Single. Congrats on the 5th place, man.